Hi, everybody. It is, November 18. Is it the 18th? Yeah. Okay. It's cold. It is cold here. And I was thinking about it. I'm kind of glad that I was told about the temperatures reaching 30 below here because it's in the 20s right now. And yes, it's cold, but I'm very grateful that it's not 30 below. Hi, everybody. I hope you're warm because a lot of people are not. A lot of people are not warm. Yeah, a lot of people who have lost their homes, they're not warm. I hope you're all warm. Geofactor 3, hello. Analog Synth Player and Alicia DeMoss and Tony Punch and Andrew Cruz and Rage Against the Machine and Barb in Ohio. Hello. And wow, who else? L24, thank you. Angelos, hello. And we've got something to chew on. Max Maximus, how are you doing? Vihar, sorry if I've butchered your name, but I am prone to that. I butcher names. James B, hello. Kurt Dog. Jane Northrup, hi. And BMCC and Shauna Howard and Patricia White and Oracle 11 and Mama Rages. Hey, driving home from work. Yeah, Barb. Hi. Oh, Hypocrites Matrix. Tracy Skywatcher from Cleveland, Ohio. Hello. And Mama Rages, thank you. Nice to see you. Ruled by Fictions, Demarque, Vincent Veritas, and Tony Bello, Michael Wilson. Hello. So, it's just another day in the good old US of A. Let's check out radar. Yeah, this has been going on all day long. Look at these extremely low frequencies in Montana. Yes. Oh, have to wonder, are they just destroying brains of Montanans? It's in the Gulf, okay? The Gulf of Mexico. This supercells igniting, going through Texas and Louisiana, on up through Arkansas, Missouri, and taking the shape of some very tall mushroom. And it's still, I'll show you the capture that I took earlier today at what time? It was at 7:53 a.m. my time. Look at this. Okay, it's just gotten taller and taller and taller. But do you see this very defined aspect of this weather front? Well, you know that is not Mother Nature. That comes from man emitting electromagnetic frequencies. You can see the frequencies hitting this storm, but it has been going on for a very long time. Look at this very thin line of supercells. Were there any very bad thunderstorms in Arkansas today? Also Louisiana. But now it's just, still going on. Okay. So we have some not so good weather coming this week, of course. It's a holiday, so we always have severe weather for the holiday travelers. Look at this. How you guys doing in Louisiana and the southeastern corner of Texas? No, we never saw weather fronts like this, not with this shape and not going on for hours and hours and hours and hours all day long. Look at these very high pulses in Iowa. And extremely low frequencies coming out of Alabama into Mississippi. All of these frequencies have an effect on what? Weather fronts. And there was, and I hope it's no longer, let me refresh the page. Okay. There was a tornado warning for Texas and Louisiana, but that has expired. I sure hope nothing happened near Toledo Bend Dam and Jamestown and Newton. Severe weather warnings, none. Okay. I'm a little surprised at that, but good. I do want to show you the forecast coming up. Look at this mushroom. All right. Starting at midnight, November 19. All right. Becomes more severe at 6 a.m. in Iowa and into Minnesota. 6 a.m., November 19. You got a whole lot of severe weather down here in, oh boy, Tony, New Orleans area into Mississippi, Panhandle, no, Mississippi and Alabama by noontime tomorrow. And getting more severe for the Panhandle, the western corner of the Panhandle of Florida, and Mississippi and Alabama. Though it looks like it's more, let me see. Very south Mississippi into Alabama. 6 p.m. tomorrow. And still going through same area, still down here in the Gulf. Does that mean you're going to be getting coast surges? You may very well. Panhandle of Florida and the very southeast corner of Alabama and southwest corner of Georgia. Midnight, November 20. And it then falls into the Gulf. But what do we have here? An atmospheric river and a whole lot of snow for Washington, Oregon, Northern California. And this is noontime on the 20th. You have an awful lot of snow, very, very deep snow for Northern California. Also up here in Washington, noontime, November 20. Oops. And yeah, a lot of rain, a lot of precipitation coming in. They're calling it a bomb cyclone. Atmospheric river. And feet of snow. Noontime, November 20. Still a whole lot of snow, Northern California. Also, the southwest corner of Oregon, and an awful lot of rain for Northern California. Looks like flooding for you guys, 6 p.m., November 20. Still quite a lot of snow, Sierra Nevada mountains. Still some rain in Northern California. So, yeah, I mean, look, happy Thanksgiving. A lot of rain. Based on this forecast, snow begins on the 21st, noontime, for just a small portion of Pennsylvania and into West Virginia, Appalachian Mountains. Great. And a lot of rain. So 6 p.m., November 21st, you have still some light snow in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and down into Kentucky. Also, is that New York State? I believe so. Heavier snow for you guys at 6 p.m., November 21st in Wisconsin, and lighter snow down here, Michigan, Wisconsin. Heavier snow for November 22nd, midnight. Yeah, I see West Virginia, Appalachian Mountains. And a whole lot of rain for you guys in Northern California. It's November 21st, 6 p.m., and gets worse. November 22nd, midnight. All right, I'm just going to post the links so that you can bookmark, check it out for yourself. Certainly, if you're traveling, be very careful. But I have noted throughout the years that virtually every holiday, the airports, chaos, the roads, not so much, but the airports for sure. So if you're flying, I really hope that it goes smoothly for you. Now, unbelievable. I saw this 2 minutes before going live. You ready? Okay.
This is the KTLA 5 News at 4. Thank you for watching. I'm Samantha Cortese.
And I'm John Finolio. We're following breaking news outside of Knott's Berry Farm, where people have been stuck on a ride for hours.
Oh, Gil Lavis, you're in Sky 5 with details. What's going on now?
Wow, Sam and John, you're looking at Knott's Berry Farm here. This is the Soul Spin Ride. This is in the Fiesta Village section of Knott's Berry Farm. Around 2 o'clock is when this ride got stuck. You can see the riders still seated in those arms on this ride. It does go around and round, but somehow it got stuck and they were not able to get it to operate again. You can see all the people sitting in place. Some people on their side here. It looks like some facing the other direction here, and even more so on that side of the ride itself. Now, workers are trying to get the riders off using this crane here. You can see an operator here coming up to the crane. They're going to try to offload each one of those ride goers one by one. It's time consuming, and it's already been going on since 2. So going on the second hour of this problem here with this ride, having people stuck on this ride now for 2 hours. And who knows how long it's going to take. Orange County Fire Authority, we believe, are on scene and evaluating the situation. It's unclear if anyone has been hurt on this ride. But again, this is the Soul Spin Ride at Knott's Berry Farm, stuck now for 2 hours. That's the latest overhead up in Sky 5. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Gil, thanks. I just wanted to mention these riders are stuck 6 stories in the air, for if you were wondering. 6 stories up, dangling feet, obviously. They're free spinning gondolas.
Exhaust mic.
Yeah, so these they're
Right
clicked
pedal,
in
right
obviously individually, but these people will spin individually in each arm of the ride, go up 6 stories, and I'm just
Right
happy none of them are upside down.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, you can see some of them are certainly hanging sideways. Gil, we see the cherry picker there. It looks like they're trying to offload some of those passengers. Where is the fire department? Where are first responders? All right, we may not have Gil's audio.
Okay. Not a whole lot is working very well in our country. Can you imagine sitting on this ride? It's stuck. You can't get down sideways for hours. All right. Yeah. Atmospheric river to hit Pacific Northwest and California. Snow could impact parts of Northeast and Great Lakes. All right, so meteorologists are forecasting a stormy pattern that could impact millions of people across the United States this week, with the threat of flooding, travel disruptions, and the potential for the first accumulating snowfall of the season. In some places, flooding, rainfall, mountain snow are expected along parts of the West Coast this week, with the worst of the impacts expected to occur across North Carolina, California, between Tuesday afternoon and Friday. The potential exists for 8 inches to 12 inches of rainfall in Northern California, with a maximum of 20 inches of rain possible. That's flooding. Conditions are expected to deteriorate along the Interstate 5 corridor from Northern California into Western Oregon and Washington on Tuesday, before a plume of moisture is expected to focus the risk for major flooding across Northern California on Wednesday, which can then continue to rain over the same areas repeatedly through Friday. The plume of heavy rain is expected to heighten the risk for mudslides, debris flows, and road closures in many burn scar areas across the region later this week. Heavy snow is expected to span across the Cascades, Northern Rockies, Northern Sierra Nevada range, posing a risk to travelers on mountain pass roads. Road closures are possible as a result of this storm. Wind gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour are possible in the mountains, and gusts of 60 to 70 miles per hour are possible along the Pacific coast, with a maximum of 90 miles per hour. Yeah. Hurricane strength winds. And 3 inches to 6 inches of snow in the higher elevations of southwestern Pennsylvania, parts of Maryland and West Virginia, with a maximum of 24 inches. Holiday time. A bomb cyclone and atmospheric river are developing in the Pacific. And what I'll link to this if you don't know what a bomb cyclone is or an atmospheric river. CBS provides all of the information that you need to know. We've gone through this for years and years. When an atmospheric river and the bomb cyclone occur at the same time, a major weather event is expected. Atmospheric rivers provide the moisture. Bomb cyclone provides the intensity and increased winds. All right, so are we going to see some electromagnetic frequencies in this? Yeah, you can be sure. Let's just listen to mainstream meteorologists talk about yet another weather event taking place this week.
In the higher elevations, because we know the mountains, the Cascades, and the Sierra, that rain is going to turn into snow.
Earlier we had a lot of rain, right? And then it got cold, so the roads snapped over. It got really slick really quick. I just throw my truck in low gear and go really slow and try not to hit the brakes too much. If you don't have snow tires, I would definitely be chaining up, and I would chain up in the right place. Don't do it at the runaway truck ramp.
Yeah, listen to that advice. Now, keep in mind, we're looking at what's happening in Government Camp Oregon from Sunday. We have moisture that's already streaming in. We have rain, a system affecting the Pacific Northwest, the coast as well. Higher elevations this morning, picking up on the snow. It's so easy for us to forget what's happening here and now because of what's going to eventually take place. But the Pacific Northwest is in for a pretty active period. Now, we do zoom out and you see the Pacific, the mighty Pacific. There's a powerhouse storm, Marissa, that's going.
All right, so let's just go back to radar and let's see. Right. All right, you have some precipitation here coming in. Let's just take a look at Zoom radar, Zoom Earth. Oh, it's nighttime. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Your atmospheric river with microwaves. Microwaves right on into California. The ripple effect. And you can see the defined lines. No, I'm sorry. This is manufactured. All of these lines. And, oh, God. And then you have the, whatever the hell this is. But it's making cloud. Let's just say that. You can see the reddish color in this, the pinkish color. I'll link to this. If you can't see it off my screen, click on the link because it's very clear. The pinkish color, which, well, I believe is the activation of the nanobots to create this enormous cloud structure. And let's just go back a couple of hours. Now, a lot of people would say that these are chemtrails. I say that these are nanobots activated into cloud. None of this real, as we know. You can see the different colors, the green, the blue, the pink, red color. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go to my Never Lose Truth channel. No number, just Never Lose Truth. Go to the playlist that I have, weather modification, and you'll see several videos on nanotechnology. Weather nanotechnology. My hunch is that you probably can see how disgusting this is. And look at how you can see the structure of the cloud itself being made. Yes. All the research that I've done on the nanotechnology and the nanobots, You know, not everything is a chemtrail. Some are the nanobots being activated. But you can see all of the lines in here and the very bizarre coloring. I mean, this looks like cells or, you know, a blood sample. Well, that's your atmospheric river. That's at 3 p.m. today. 3 p.m. today. And all of this, manufactured by man, not natural, not at all. The right angled cut right here. Nope. It's 4 p.m. now. Really? Okay. We're supposed to believe that this is a natural atmospheric river coming in to flood you out. Not at all. Look at all of these. You know, it looks like just strands of rope. Not looking good. $4:20 p.m. 4:30. 4:40. Oh, God. 4:50. 5 o'clock. See how defined this is? How defined this is? None of it. I really hope that all of you in this area of the country are not pummeled. None of you have to suffer the consequences. Be very careful. All right, so yeah, it is gross. It's toxic. It's horrible. All right, so UAE is considering using artificial intelligence to increase cloud seeding. Huh. Well, I must be a conspiracy theorist just because I'm reading an article. The practice makes it rain on purpose. United Arab Emirates could turn to artificial intelligence to increase cloud seeding missions and rainfall levels across the country. The UAE Research Program for Rain Enhancement Science. We know that the United Arab Emirates has been making it rain in the desert areas. Yeah, their headquarters of the National Center of Meteorology in Abu Dhabi. The practice involves artificially generating rain by implanting clouds with particles, which then encourage rain to fall. All right. There's many methods in which they can make rain, and we all know that, right? Okay. But for those who don't know and start screaming at us that we're crazy, we're off our meds, conspiracy theorists, pretty much, I think everybody's on the same page that, yeah, they could use cloud seeding to make it rain. They could use cloud seeding to enhance rainfall, right? Don't you think that that might move them along to think, well, what else might they be using? Since we're in, the fourth industrial revolution, which is all technology, where AI comes in will be in the approach to deploying cloud seeding planes at the most accurate and effective times using data to inform operations and experts at the NCM, which is the National Center of Meteorology. They say that global water security means that more unconventional methods need to be considered. Achieving global water security requires more than conventional approaches. It necessitates continuous innovation and the deployment of advanced, data-driven, and AI-supported technologies. Supercomputers, nanobots. Key in the coordinates where you want those nanobots activated, and voila, they begin to make cloud. And listen to this. Okay. Trudeau says feeding your kids should not be your top priority. It should be climate change. Yeah. The big push is on.
It's really, really easy when you're in a short-term survive. I got to be able to pay the rent this month. I got to be able to buy groceries for my kids, to say, okay, let's put climate change as a slightly lower priority. And that's something that's instinctive. When the storm comes, you want to hunker down and just sort of huddle up and wait for it to blow over. We can't do that around climate change. And unfortunately, we have an awful lot of political amplification of the kind of narrative that is directly opposed to that. It's really, really easy when you're in a short-term survive. I got to be able to pay the rent this month. I got to be able to buy groceries for my kids.
Oh, don't you feel like just smacking this kid? Putting him in a timeout, grounding him, working for the World Economic Forum. Utility companies in New Jersey take wildfire precautions as drought persists. More wildfires erupting in New Jersey. And, well, utility companies doing those power outages planned, to prevent wildfire. Now, travel 3,000 miles over to New Jersey.
It was another day of elevated wildfire danger here in New Jersey with dry conditions and gusty winds. Now, these fires can be caused by so many things, and now utility companies are taking the steps that they hope will reduce any sparking during this drought. This was the scene over Lakewood today. Yet another wildfire, about 30 acres and threatening 6 structures. The cause of this fire and many others still under investigation. But New Jersey utility companies are taking action, learning from other regions where power lines sparked fires, like the deadly fire in Lahaina on the island of Maui last year.
We're having calls on a daily basis right now.
Jersey Central Power and Light serves customers in Mercer, Burlington, and Ocean counties. The devices they've adjusted typically shorten the length of a power outage.
If a tree branch comes down on a line, These devices will open to stop the electricity flowing through there. It'll send pulses of electricity to see if that tree branch is cleared. And once it has, it'll automatically re-energize the line.
Now that function has been disabled because things are so dry. State climatologist Dave Robinson says every little bit helps.
We need to control sparks. That's what it comes down to.
He studies patterns in the history of climate in the Garden State. He calls this period of drought unprecedented, and he's already looking ahead to what this means for next year.
We're in a situation, if we don't pull out of this very persistent pattern in the next couple of months, we're not going to have the opportunity to refill our groundwater and our rivers and our reservoirs by the time next spring comes along.
Okay, if we don't pull out of this drought, well, the severity of the drought came about rather quickly, didn't it? I wasn't seeing anything, though I did see a map and there was drought all over the country. Oh, wow. Okay. But really, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, having these wildfires that go on and on and on. All right. Well, think about all of that spraying of incendiary nanoparticulates. And yeah, all right, so Billy here, Bill Gates, cows are about 5% of global emissions. We got to do something. We've got to do something.
Yeah, so there's basically two ways to help with cows. Cows are about 5% of global emissions, which is pretty unbelievable.
Wild.
And if your goal is to get to zero, you don't get to skip the cows or the steel or the cement or, any of those big areas. So there's a whole class of solutions of making meat without cows. Today, it doesn't taste as good and it costs too much. It's going through a little bit of a lull, but those companies, Impossible Beyond, Memphis, and others are pursuing that. In terms of the cows, we pursued many solutions. So one is to vaccinate the cows in a way that their gut bacteria that emit the methane, which is also called natural gas or CH4, which is the second most important greenhouse gas, you can vaccinate them and that species of bacteria isn't there. Their stomachs are very special because they can eat grass. It's a 3-stage fermentation process, basically. There's another way you can change what they eat, and you could either put that in their water or their feed. There is a drug to change the microbiome, not a vaccine, but a drug. That looks very promising. And then there's a solution where you stick a sort of a metal thing into the skin of the cow, and it actually burns the methane. And all of these look to be quite cheap and implementable even in Africa. And so this is one where I wasn't hopeful when I got started a decade ago. And now it's just a question of which solution for which country ends up being the best. Yeah, so there's basically.
Could we get rid of this guy? I think the cows would be very happy. And how about getting rid of corporate agriculture and bring back small farms in regions, in communities? We'd be so much better and healthier for it. And yeah, why don't we try those metal things in his skin and get him vaccinated and give him that drug? He's evil. And these people are just, so like, oh, wow. Oh my God. All right. I'll post the link should anybody be interested, but yeah. Here we go. These people do so extraordinary, the scale of destruction and damage. that just one guy, Bill Gates, has done. And people still don't know how truly evil he is. When all you have to do is, hey, a little bit of research to find out. Large fire reported at Louisville. Another fire, Louisville. It's a chemical plant. Another one.
Good morning. I'm Gabriel Gonzalez. We begin with breaking news this morning. A large fire at a chemical plant in Rubbertown is causing an evacuation of the building. The fire broke out about an hour ago, right around 8 o'clock at the Zeon's Chemicals plant. That's on Bells Lane in Rubbertown. You can see this video sent to us from a viewer. The fire pretty large. We know multiple agencies were working to extinguish the fire. Zeon Chemicals makes rubber. We don't know the cause or the status of the fire right now, but we will continue to bring you more information this morning.
So in the past, I'd say 10 days, there was an explosion at some plant. Help me out. I have way too much information in my head, and well, each day I get more and then it knocks out the information. But Louisville has had, in 10 days, 3 of these kinds of disasters. Yeah. Okay. That makes perfect sense. I mean, it's not it's just a coincidence. One person hurt during second alarm fire. This in Southern California, El Monte.
And we have some breaking news in South El Monte. You can see crews there putting out the last flames from a structure fire. This is near the intersection of East Enloe and Potrero Drive. When firefighters arrived, the building was fully engulfed in flames. You can see the entire roof is gone. One person was injured. We'll continue to monitor this situation and bring you
more information. Is anybody, remembering on my lives how many house fires, how many apartment complexes fires, how many recycling factories, buildings going? Yeah, okay. Neighbors react to Union County home explosion. And I did check this out, but now I can't remember. Queen City News is in North Carolina. How could I forget?
What was going on? So it was kind of apocalyptic for first 20 minutes. We heard a lot of screaming and 911 yells.
Union County deputies say the 2 people hurt in a home explosion are improving and are getting the medical attention they need. The explosion happened at this home off Steeplechase Circle in Weddington just before 9 o'clock this morning.
You see this sky? Look at this sky. Okay. We need more people actually looking at the sky and saying something's wrong.
At this home off Steeplechase Circle in Weddington just before 9 o'clock this morning. And it was an explosion that rocked many out of their beds. Queen City News reporter Caroline Boyer tells us what people in the area heard and saw in the moments after it happened.
Whether you were miles down the road.
I was sleeping and out of nowhere I hear a boom. And I'm like hopping out of bed. I'm thinking it's right outside my house.
Or right next door.
Couldn't tell if it was an earthquake at first or if it was some crashed.
People in the Weddington area woke up to a startling explosion Sunday morning. The impact so strong it blew out the windows at a few neighboring homes.
You look across and you see this plume of dust and smoke kind of going up a couple hundred feet. It was something you just don't see, in a neighborhood. It was wild.
Eric Frazier walked outside his door to find this, a home completely gutted from the inside.
It's like a war zone.
Wesley Chapel fire crews were first on the scene, and several other agencies came out to help dig through the damage.
And of course, they don't know. It's under investigation. And video shows bystanders rescue people trapped by apartment fire, and this in Chicago.
Yo, she gotta jump. She gonna have to jump. Hold it, babe. Hold my phone. Hold my phone. Hold my phone.
Pull the truck. Pull the truck. Tell her to jump. Jump. Yeah. Come on. Do anybody? Jump. Yes. Kick that window in. Kick the window in. She can't smell. She can't. He got her. It's another one. It's another one. No, he down. He down. Yes. I knew it was somebody in there. It's all right, baby.
And there's more rescues. I think in this apartment, there's another person. You can't wait on the first responders, and good on these people that they didn't. And another small plane goes down. 4 people injured.
Airplane just crashed.
Breaking news out of Pomona, where a plane crashes into the parking lot of the National Hot Rod Finals. Stunned fans watching it all. Good evening. I'm Jory Rand.
I'm Michelle Fisher. The pilot and 3 passengers are injured. There's also quite a bit of damage to vehicles there, but no bystanders were hurt. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Sear live in Pomona, where first responders really sprang into action tonight. Leanne?
All right. We've got a lot of small planes going down. And we have a lot of displaced people. This is in Memphis, Tennessee. And there's a lot of people needing to get back into their own homes. Well,
a major development in the ongoing saga surrounding Serenity Towers, the apartment high-rise for seniors near the U of M. Residents have gone days without working elevators, and today attorneys suggested to take the big step of relocating the nearly 200 people who live there to temporary housing. Our Kevin McNamara is live outside the troubled complex now. So, Kevin, how did this all start?
Yeah, Richard, this all happened last weekend. That's when a power surge came through and knocked out the elevators to the entire complex. And remember,
a power surge came through and knocked out not just one, plural, elevators in this apartment complex. Well, that should be an easy fix. So what's the problem? Wait.
this is 10 stories tall. So it makes things very difficult for the many elderly people that live here, especially some of whom are even in wheelchairs or need medical supervision in some way. And some of them have been trapped in there for days. Now, again, this new plan to relocate them temporarily is underway, but it's unclear who's going to pay for it or exactly at what timeline that will take place. Now, they're still trying to figure out exactly how those elevators are going to be repaired. And the court-appointed lawyer for Millennia, who's been handling this case, says it's a matter of their ability and willingness to pay to get those done, as he said in court today.
Repairs are not the issue. So we don't have an elevator repair problem. We have a credit problem. Repairing the elevator is not the hard thing. We can't get anyone out because we can't get our business relationships together.
We can't get our business relationships together. It's a credit problem, not a repair problem. Comes down to who's going to pay. And you have seniors living in this very large facility. Okay. Something very wrong with our country? Yeah. How about this? Repave your driveways. So they have just activated a 46-year-old ordinance forcing dozens in this area of Florida that they have to repave their driveways, and they haven't done that in 46 years. They're doing it now when so many people are hurting financially.
You're frustrated about an issue in your community. We are here to listen and talk about possible solutions at our Let's Hear It community meetups. I want to bring in Mike here. Mike, you just recently met a Lake Park resident who says he's being forced to repave his driveway. What's going on here?
Yeah, I found out Dale Jeffs, he's not the only one either. The town decided this year to enforce a code that's been on the books since the 1970s. So I went to the town mayor seeking solutions. It started with a Let's Hear It meetup.
They're telling me that I'm not in compliance anymore.
Dale Jeffs telling me he's one of 44 Lake Park homeowners that got a letter telling them to replace their gravel driveways.
This is Chattahoochee. This is one of the most expensive driveways ever.
Jeffs has lived here more than 30 years, but this is the first time the town's told him about a 1978 code ordinance prohibiting gravel driveways. Jeff says replacing it will cost more than $10,000.
I'm trying to retire. I'm not trying to take another mortgage on. I already had a mortgage for 30-some years. I'm done with that.
I took Jeff's issue to Mayor Roger Michaud.
I understand the public's concerns because there might be a perception that we never really enforced it.
Mayor Michaud says residents
a perception? No. That's reality. You never enforced it. You are enforcing it now when people are really struggling. Okay, great.
Recently applied for a permit to build a gravel driveway, but were denied due to the code. That led to the right now approach to get all driveways up to code.
We understand that the economy right now is very stressful to that.
But we don't care. We're enforcing it anyway. Oh boy, it is really long past time that we stop listening to these government officials and start getting our communities strengthened so we're not destroyed by them. All right, I'm going to play just a few minutes of this, but I listened to this woman. The title of the video, The Devastating Truth, Tennessee's Forgotten. Okay. It's not just North Carolina. There are still people struggling in Georgia, in South Carolina, in Florida, North Carolina. Also, right on up to Western Virginia. From Hurricane Helene. And yes, there's a tremendous amount of focus on Western North Carolina. And because of the devastation there, but I will tell you that there are communities in Tennessee that are devastated as well. And if you are devastated does it matter that you're devastated in Tennessee and the numbers are less than there were in Western North Carolina? Wouldn't you want the attention as well? Absolutely. But it's up to every local person in these areas to be making videos like this, posting them, and then hopefully getting them circulated. But I found listening to her really she captivated me. The link is in the chat. It's a 30-minute video, and she was unaffected by the hurricane. She works full-time. She has children, grandchildren, and she's also there every single day, volunteering to help people. And she says it over and over. The most important need is volunteers, hands-on people helping in these communities. I'm sure Maximus feels the same. He, a subscriber in the chat, he was affected. He's still got mud in his house. Okay. If you don't have a tremendous amount of money to hire people to come and help you out, if there aren't volunteers, then a whole lot of people are screwed. So I'm just going to play a few minutes near the tail end of this this video, but I will also put her link into GoFundMe. And because of your donations to me, I've been able to donate as best or as much as I can. It's very frustrating to be in this position, but I do what I can. I hope you all do what you can as well. So.
We end here by you talking about how important community is and being unified as citizens, and without unification, that may need, we may not get a lot done. Can you just explain the community, and can you explain how important being unified is? The people being unified, not having a false expectation that some government agency is going to come save us. Explain the power of what you've seen and how important it is, the unity.
I have seen this community here alone come together and tell FEMA, if you think you're going to come here and with our community, you're crazy. I mean, and these people they're one of a kind, and they pulled it together because they are a community. These people are family. These people have lived here for years. And when FEMA came in, they were like the ragged stepchild that you don't like. And they knew where to go and they knew where not to go. But unity in this community is
Progressive Commercial Insurance offers affordable small business protection. You can receive discounts on commercial auto insurance.
Unbelievable. Like I said, the love and compassion that they've had for each other. Now you have some that will, you always got a rotten egg in the batch, but this community here, it blew me away to see the love and, hey, do you need this? I mean, they were asking us if we needed things, and we were here trying to help them. So that right there shows you that they have compassion, they have love, strength, prayer, it's just, I mean, I'm very, 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 very grateful to be from where I'm from.
Well, Brittany, I want you to know that I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that people understand what you're saying, that they understand your message. I'm going to do as best I can to get your contact info. And that way, if anyone is on their heart to help support you,
yes.
It's in the description. I just wanted to say, that, dude, you're a freaking pillar here. You know, you are an absolute American hero, and I want you to know I thank you for it.
Well, listen, you don't ever have to thank me. This is what we are here to do. As a community, you're supposed to come together. You don't think family. You know, you do it. So
You do it. That's what community is. And one of the reasons why, I post a lot of these videos is because we are seeing with those who were affected by Hurricane Helene, especially Western North Carolina, and then right over the border in Tennessee, they're a power of example. So for all of the communities that have been affected by the weather terrorists, this is how the communities have to respond. And no, it was a great point. She said the honeymoon is over. The honeymoon is like the first week of these disasters where everybody comes out and, helping. And then it dies down. But for the people who are in need of help, they're still sitting there struggling. She said, it's important for people to continue on after the honeymoon phase. Right. So, they're a great power of example. All of these people who are still there, still working at it. What is it, 6 weeks later? And, $5? Everybody has at least $5. So what is the title of this? Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. Yes. But people have to come together. So I'll also post the link to two other videos, that I was watching today, and you have to make your judgment calls on who to donate to. I think we all understand Red Cross is not who you want to be donating to. Samaritan's Purse. I was listening to this woman, and I didn't get to listen to the full broadcast, but Operation Blessings, there are so many very good organizations, and when you're listening to somebody, you, especially, a half-hour interview, you get a feel for the person. And I certainly got a feel for this woman within 5 minutes. She is not a bullshitter. So the link is okay. Did I put in? No, 2 links. All right. So, and I'm just going to play a few minutes of this video, Heart of Darkness, Hurricane Helene investigation. And please circulate. That is very, very important. If you don't do anything else, the least you can do is just circulate the information.
It's an awakening, let's say that.
I miss my family, but I don't want to leave anybody.
When Hurricane Helene stalled over western North Carolina on September 27th, her victims were pulverized by the fragments of a mountain range once hailed as a haven for surviving natural crises. Record-breaking winds sent fields of timber soaring through a toxic deluge. propelled in distance by a pop-up network of roaring rapids, upended homes, and communities beyond recognition. Littering these settlements were all manner of detritus, including human remains.
I personally saw somebody hanging in a tree about 20 feet above the ground.
Trey O'Hara, a born-again carpenter from Murrells Inlet, South Carolina, claims to have responded to Appalachia's distress call within hours of Helene's dissipation over eastern Tennessee. He furthermore claims to have laid eyes on numerous fatalities in Buckham County, North Carolina, despite mainstream media's incessant pushback to any such statement.
I looked over, then there's stacks chest high of body bags, 45, maybe even 50 feet long. And so just that alone, that'd be more than what they're reporting right there.
One of many eyewitness testimonies backed by photographs of storm-related fatalities, their personal belongings, and chain of custody forums provided by a local funeral home.
I really think it's going to be a long time before it's okay.
Angel Marks, a retired kindergarten teacher from Vass, North Carolina, claims to have encountered similar horrors while restoring electricity to displaced survivors. An out-of-pocket effort that hasn't come without difficulty from the Federal Emergency Management Agency.
FEMA moved in, wanted to know could we provide generators for their people, and shortly after we told them no, we were moved. So we're at Ledger Fire Department now.
The makeshift post in Bakersville, where Marks and her husband have coordinated the delivery of at least 250 generators with the help of volunteers like O'Hara.
Here I'm also helping out, and that is to hook up the generators to get power back to the houses that don't have power. And every day I go out, and it's amazing how much damage was done.
Breathtaking horror that has led O'Hara from the spoils of Fairview to the remnants of Irwin. Equipped with nothing more than a tool belt, tenacity, and a higher calling.
This is my first time here, and man, I am in awe.
Seen here during a service call in Spruce Pine, a tiny town known as America's sole source of high-purity quartz, a crystalline mineral vital to the world's production of semiconductors and solar panels.
You know, it may be tragedy, but we're counting the blessing that came along with it.
And a second home to 68-year-old Chip Taft, a mountaineer whose meter-based power was restored by O'Hara after 28 days on a gas-powered generator.
People without power, of course, have no heat.
Thank you so much. Yes, sir.
It snowed here Wednesday. They were freezing. All of it, all around, is devastating. And it's just more than somebody could ever imagine.
I mean, whose ears does it got to hit before somebody decides to do something different? You know, it's going to be the right set of ears sooner or later. You know, all we got to do is keep truth telling.
FEMA did not respond to our request for comment. What a surprise. Okay, so think about it. You're in your home. You have heat. You have water. You can take a shower. You can use your oven to make a meal, hot meal. You go to bed, in your bed, a warm bed. Think of all of the people. Well, just in western North Carolina, eastern Tennessee, it's snowing. It's friggin' cold out here, and they're in tents. There's a whole lot of tents. Oh, the videos of people who have these drones and posting, showing all of the tents. It's friggin' cold. Well, you certainly do, don't wait for one day to give thanks. You are not special. You're lucky. And a whole lot of people have been dropped into this circumstance. And we know that it's these weather terrorists who are doing this to people. So when you think about everything that you have, think about giving something to those who don't have. Especially now, when we have so many people who are really struggling, really hurting. Consider sitting down with your family and saying, you know something, this year, maybe what we should do, instead of giving one another, presents, that we take that money and we give to people who really need it. Maybe we shouldn't spend a tremendous amount of money on our holiday meal. Maybe we can have a smaller, more humble meal and take the money that we would use ordinarily and give it to people who are in need. It's what Christ would do. So, I want to bring your attention to SPARS pandemic. Yes, another fabulous simulation on a scenario. I just saw this today. I didn't get to read it, but do we need to read it? John Hopkins, SPARS pandemic. Time period 2025, 2028. Futuristic scenario for public health risk communicators. All right. Well, we know it's coming. I'll post the link, but the SPARS outbreak begins. A possible cure, a potential vaccine. Users beware, going viral, the grass is always greener. The voice, are you talking to me? Changing horses midstream. Head of the line privileges, standing in line, protesting online. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, lovers and haters. The grass is always greener, part 2. Are you talking to me? Part 2. Antibiotics. Okay. Trump is still praising himself on what a fabulous job he did with that vaccine, getting it out, right? So, yeah, the link is in the chat. But at this point, having read, all of the others, I don't need to read yet another scenario that they bring to simulated reality. They might tweak, a few of the details, but it's going to be pretty much the same. Now, this was a great interview, Whitney Webb, and I believe her husband, don't quote me on that, but the next 4 years of America, you'll get to learn a lot about Trump and who he associates with, who, Yeah. Oh, the Trumpers who are yay, 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 yay. You may be applauding your own demise. So I'm just going to play a few minutes. The minutes that have to do with Big Pharma, Trump in bed with Big Pharma. All right.
Wiles yesterday being chief of staff. I looked.
Yeah, his and this is amazing to me. Those who support Trump will just ignore some of the most crucial appointments, critical appointments, to understand who he is really. So his chief of staff, can't remember her first name, Wiles. Big Pharma lobbyist. Come on.
Looked her up, her background. She seems pretty competent. She's the daughter of Pat Summerall, an American hero.
I think that's so funny.
Well, sure, but she helped elect Rick Scott to be governor of Florida, who was previously a pharmaceutical executive that committed fraud. And in Florida, I believe his nickname is Skeletor. He's now a senator. And she was also a big-time Big Pharma lobbyist, including for her firm represents Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance.
Well, that's
Gates.
what makes all this coalition interesting, because you do have this sort of embedded gridlock between the people, some of the people behind Trump. Like it seems like I'm sure you saw the Big Pharma execs are all on a conference call.
When Trump announced that he was pulling us out of the World Health Organization, did he really? Because what came on the heels of that announcement was a silent announcement of a whole lot of money going to Gavi, which is pretty much the global, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a global vaccine organization, Bill Gates. So Trump, silent announcement, actually donated a whole lot of money to Gavi. Bill Gates funds World Health Organization. Do you not see how they play the game? Okay. Drives me nuts.
All preparing for the incoming administration.
Yeah, but at the same time, Marty, it's like
Elon's
back, Tesla is
going back to vigilance and accountability. Again, not saying things are going to change.
100%.
We are
100%.
Like these are the things I'm looking at. Like
for sure,
there is.
And
a possibility.
I think you're the man. It's just I think Elon. I mean, he was building mRNA technology for the CureVac in Tesla factories. He's saying the science is unequivocal. Huge proponent for vaccines and COVID insanity at the very beginning. Obviously, then he pivoted, as all these people did when it was like no longer politically dangerous and it no longer really mattered. They all pivoted. Vivek, also heavily involved in mRNA stuff. There's so much pharmaceutical money and lobby in that little Avengers group of people that people are so fucking stoked about. I know you want to say something on that, right?
Well, I have a lot to say about pharma in general. So really, since before COVID-19, Big Pharma had a major issue with what are known as patent cliffs. And patent cliffs are basically where drugs that they had exclusivity on go generic and they can't make as much money off of them anymore. And there's also a problem. That problem is combining with an R&D problem for traditional pharmaceuticals, where drugs that can be marketed under that exclusivity model just aren't really they can't really find anything new that's profitable and works and can pass existing regulations to make it to market, right? So what most big pharma companies have done, and it really grew substantially during the COVID era, was that they teamed up with technology firms or smaller biotech firms. So out of that, for example, you saw GlaxoSmithKline team up with Google and made Galvani Bioelectronics. On the board was Monsef Salawi, who was later put in charge of Operation Warp Speed, for example. And there's
All right, there's an awful lot of very good information in this interview, but Max, you say, be careful of Whitney Webb. The woman is not exactly who she says she is. Who is she? Then tell us who she is, okay? If you're going to post something that is detrimental to the person speaking, then give us the evidence. And just because somebody comes from a family of billionaires does not mean that they're horrible people working for, there's a lot of people who come from very, very, very wealthy billionaire families that, well, they're like the black sheep going against the grain of those families. So if you have vetted her, Max, please tell us what you learned. She's going to bring us 90% of the truth and leave that 10% out, which is what? What 10% did she leave out? It's really important when you are saying bad things about people that you bring the evidence, okay? Otherwise, you're just part of the problem of, breaking down trust in our fabulous community. And, well, Jay Bhattacharya, I'm sorry, butchered the name, as top contender for NIH. I think that's a fabulous appointment, but at this point, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter if these people are naive to the political workings of DC, because big events are going to be coming around the corner, and they could very easily be swallowed up in the big event. So, yeah. And I couldn't believe it. So I was listening, I think last night, actually. I was listening to Brian here, the Disturbing Illusion, who's also High Impact Flex, and Trump to end all censorship on day one. Yay. Oh boy, is he saying a lot that, yeah, I'd love to see, actually, Whitney is a trans man. Oh, shit. Okay, I get you. All right. So I'm listening to this. Sounds all good, right? But I also know that
them to lie.
He also said other things that, well, he's going to select out what kind of speech you can have. Well, we'll get to that in 1 second. Look, Brian is covering Trump. Cover Trump unbiased. He actually might be saving us all. LOL. I'm on year 14 doing this. There were so many in the very beginning, the very, beginning years of my being on social media. And there were a lot that I felt like I was on the same page with during the Obama years. There were a lot that I respected. And then the change, from blue to red. And I began to see an awful lot of people that I thought, oh my God. And they were saying things that were so shocking to me, I thought we were all pretty much on the same page, understanding that no, these people are selected, not elected, but then suddenly Trump comes on the scene. And then he's elected, not selected. It was very interesting, but what was really kind of heartbreaking was to feel the betrayal of an awful lot of people that I felt we were all on the same page. And when it comes down to it, Brian is the one that I still have my respect for. Hats off to him because he is objective. And you can learn a lot by listening to Brian. You can actually listen to these videos because, as far as I'm concerned, he helps people think clearly and objectively. So, but we do have an awful lot here that have no problem tarnishing reputations of people without evidence. Anybody who's watched me for a long period of time knows that that's a real big irritant of mine. But listening to Trump, oh my God, it's just fabulous. No, yeah, he's pulling the plug on censorship. I'll get into this more tomorrow. But yeah, we're going to censor those who I consider to be anti-Semitic. So I'm listening to this last night, and then the next video that pops up on my homepage was Jimmy Dore. Yeah, Trump pledges to crack down on pro-Palestinian speech. So speech that I don't like, I will crack down on, and I'm going to censor. But he does this, pulling the plug on censorship. Not so much. Not so much. So, it's 7:29. I will post the link to both of these. It was quite a wallop, last night. That's Brian's link, The Disturbing Illusion. And this is Jimmy Dore. The link is in the chat. Oh, but Trump to declare a national emergency day one to conduct mass deportations. A whole lot of people, yay, yay, yay. You really do need to take a step back, out of the matrix, look at these people, and don't just give all of your faith over to people who lie and have shown the narcissistic psychopathic behavior. Why do we give so much support to the worst of the worst? And yeah, that's Trump. So apparently he's going to prepare to declare a national emergency, will use military assets to reverse the Biden invasion through a mass deportation program. All right, well, yeah, it's... What will the effect of this be? Well, it certainly will incite the blue team big time. It could incite to violence. It could bring about martial law. On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in the history of our country. I will rescue every city and town that has been invaded, and we will put the vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail. How does he know who the hell are the bloodthirsty criminals in jail? Except for those who already have a record. I understand that he's saying an awful lot that an awful lot want to hear. But the ramifications, the effect on you and a whole lot of innocent people, it could be pretty large scale. So, all of these people, anybody, government officials, Trump's devotion to Israel, and his ties to big pharma and all of these industries that we know are killing us. You have to be very careful with these people, and, well, I'll speak for myself. I would never give my trust to somebody who has shown himself to be a liar for the first years. I know a whole lot of people want to ignore all of the lies, but it was just like the blue team during the Obama years, ignoring all of his lies. There's no difference between the teams. In how they kowtow to their leaders. All right. All right, guys, we've got an awful lot going on. We really need to do some changing ourselves, try to get out there, help people in your community. And yeah. All right. Be safe. Be safe. Live honestly. Speak honestly. Develop yourself as a trustworthy human being. Most important work that you can do. Most important work to manifest something different, something better in our country. And on that note, I say good night, good luck, be safe. Thank you for showing up. I hope to see you tomorrow night. Ciao, guys.